G'day possums, welcome back to the lab. I've purchased a Hewlett-Packard Signal Generator, the HP8656A Signal Gen. This is part 4, and in the previous episode you saw me replace the capacitors in the power supply, fix the attenuators, plus the faulty keyboard. And today we're going to replace that really noisy fan at the back that cools the whole entire signal generator. Enough talk, let's get started. This is the rear end of our SIG generator here, and you can see our little programming interface here. We've got a few BNC inputs and outputs for, I think, time base. And this clever thing here, this is your IEC connector. But next to it we have a bit of a clear window here. And that clear window can actually slide across to expose the fuse if the fuse needs to be changed. But a great safety device is when the plug's in, you cannot slide this clear window across, thus access to the fuse is blocked. So it stops stupid people getting electrocuted. But this is what we're talking about today. We're talking about the fan unit, and this fan is a 92mm fan, which is 3 5/8 of an inch in the old money. And fans usually come in two flavors, suckers or blowers, and this is a sucker, and the best way to check that out, and I've got a bit of a fan guard here as well. Get the old Kimtech tissue, and you can see it sticks there quite well, so it's a sucker. And it's more efficient for test equipment to actually suck a cool pool of air here and then blow it into the actual equipment itself, to keep all those voltage regulators and all other sorts of components cool. And most of them operate in that fashion. So what we're going to do now is I reckon we should see how much sound is coming from this fan unit, and then what we'll do is after we replace it, we'll double check the sound again to see if it's any quieter. So we'll push on with that now. We've got our iPhone set up here with our decibel meter app, and we have our microphones down the bottom. We have them positioned about ½ an inch away from the actual back of the SIG Gen, and you can see that we're pulling 85, 86, 87, 88 decibels, which is pretty loud. So what we'll do is we'll start disassembly and we'll tear the unit apart and we'll replace this old noisy fan. I unplug the IEC power plug because I don't feel like meeting my maker. As always, do not fiddle with high voltages unless qualified. I remove the fan grill. Then I remove the right side rear standoff. And finally I remove the fan assembly or box. If we have a look here, we've got 40 years of dust. It's just all caked up. This is our fan unit here. I might take out the last couple of screws and we'll have a look at the fan itself. This is our fan, and it's pretty much caked up full of dust. Also take note that all fans, even fans made 40 years ago, have a direction of rotation of the impeller unit, and that's that way, and a direction of airflow. And you can see the arrow pointing that way. So you can see that airflow is pushed into the actual chamber here and then blows right through the test equipment. So I think we better give it a bit of a clean up and get some compressed air in here. everything's all washed up, and we have our brand new fan here. We might just open this up. Oh, this box isn't too bad to open. Have our little fan unit here. Drag it out. Put the box away. This looks interesting. Better get our knife and open that up. Just cut away from our body. Doesn't this look pretty? It's got a nice long lead on it. Excellent. 115 volts. AC. Brand spanking new. So no, this looks fantastic. So what we'll do is we'll put this in the back of our fan assembly. First thing we have to do is we have to check the airflow, and if you have a look at the top of the fan, you can see the airflow occurs in this direction. So this is a sucker, so the airflow gets sucked from the rear and pushed into the equipment. Obviously, if you want the air to go in the opposite direction, you just turn the fan around. Nice and simple, easy to do, but in this case, it goes in this orientation and it'll fit inside our little fan assembly or fan box. And we've actually stolen the clips off the old fan, and they actually have to be mounted in each corner, so it has something for our little bolts to actually bite into, so the fans is secured and it doesn't move an inch. So what we'll do is we'll put those clips on now. Lovely, our fan's all mounted. All we've got to do is make sure the impeller moves unobstructed inside. Fantastic. So we've just got to slap this fan assembly on the back of our SIG generator and wire it in. We have our rear fan assembly here, or fan box, and we have our original plug and back shell, and we have a little clips to lock that in. We have our leads from our fan, and I'm just going to pop them in through some heat shrink tubing, and you'll see what I'm going to use that for later on. I'll just push that through, and what we'll do is we'll just feed these leads through the back shell itself. 1, 2, any orientation. And what we're going to do is we're going to now solder those leads to this plug. We'll do our first side. Let's quickly heat this pin up. Perfect. I just turn the plug around and we're going to hit the other side. Quickly heat that pin, push it in, and we're done. We've got everything all ready to go. We've got our fan assembly, a fan box, and we've got the back of the RF SIG Gen. So we'll just plug our fan back in. Lovely. And we'll put everything back together again. If you have a look where the cable goes in here for the fan assembly, we've got a nice sharp edge here, and we're at the risk of chafing and cutting through that cable over time and causing a major failure and probably a bit of arcing, sparking. So what we're going to do is we're going to move up that heat shrink up into the crack, pull it back a little bit, and then I'm going to hit it with a bit of hot air. We're just going to shrink that down in place. That looks a lot better. I'm just going to push it back in. Right, let's turn it on. We'll see if it's any quieter, and more importantly, we want the fan to work as well. And we can see it's idling around, you know, that 79 or 80 decibel mark, which is pretty good. It's about 8 decibel down on the old previous fan. And the great thing is, you know, it's a little bit quieter, but you've got a brand new fan that'll go for the next 15-20 years. Nice set of ball bearings in it, so you know it'll go for 40,000-50,000 hours, not a problem at all. So yep, so I'm happy with that outcome. That's pretty good. That's it, we're all done. This is the front end of the SIG generator. We've been looking at the rear end all episode, but you can give me a hand in the next episode. We're going down the rabbit hole. We'll be looking at the RF or radio frequency output. It looks a bit crappy. Don't forget to check out all the videos in this series in the description down below when they become available. If you're interested in seeing other stuff, check out the rest of our channel. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe. It's time for me to go. Hooroo. I'll see you next time in the lab.